Hello, Radio Beaverton here with a review of another book. Today's book I'm reviewing is The Lilies of the Field by William E Barrett. This is a very short novel. It was written in 1960 and it's very good. They later made a movie based on this starring Sidney Poitier, and it came out in the early 60s. I have not yet seen it, so I need to see that movie. The book is... well, it's a classic. It reads something along the lines of To Kill a Mockingbird, something like that. It's not a downer, though. It's a very uplifting book. There's no real villain in it. It's kind of slice of life. It's kind of a quest, you know, the hero quest, and a little slice of life. The book is about the German nuns, and they're living in the desert, but they've escaped from East Germany, and so they don't speak much English. And they're living in a desert, and the Mother Superior has this wild dream of building a chapel on their property in the middle of the desert. And one day along comes this black guy, an African-American, who he's an army veteran. And he's kind of, not mean, he's just kind of opinionated, and, you know, he's just doing his own thing, and he doesn't want to be bothered with people, and somehow the Mother Superior kind of hooks him into helping him. And that's basically what the story is about. And of course there's differences between them. And although the book was written in the 60s, when there was a lot of the racial issues going on, and it is mentioned in the book, it doesn't really come into it. I mean, the Mother Superior doesn't really have a problem with him because he's black, and vice versa. Although they do have a problem with each other because of their personalities, which is what makes the book really a classic. It isn't that, oh, you're a black guy, I don't like you. No, it's... the Mother Superior is really like a pig-headed woman who expects you to do it her way, and the black guy, the Afro-American guy, is a, you know, he's very, like, he's the same way, you know, he just wants to do his own thing. He's just traveling, you know, he's traveling the country in a station wagon that he's converted into kind of a camper or something, and, you know, it's an interesting book. It's very short, it's a fast read, and it really does leave you wanting more. And what I really like about it, the best thing was the quality that after the events occurred, it became kind of a local legend. That people started to spin tales about it and tell legends. Kind of like in the original Lord of the Rings, Tolkien mentions that hundreds of years, quote-unquote, after the events of The Hobbit, that people will tell stories about Mad Baggins, who disappears in a puff of smoke and reappears with a bag of gold. So long after the real events have been forgotten, they're still telling stories. And that's what I liked about this, because this happens in this book too. At the very end, it is tear-jerking at the end, because especially when we read it now in the year 2014, the time telescopes, you know, it's sort of an epilogue, you know, years later, this is what happens, and this is how things stand. And I guess in the 60s when you read it, you kind of had to, like, think ahead years. But reading this now, it's easy to see that it's been 50 years since this book supposedly happened. So you get more of a poignancy with the epilogue. Anyway, it's a very good book. It's really short. I read it in an evening. It's almost a short story, and it's very well written. It's your usual classic book. It'll leave you thinking. It'll leave you wanting more, really. You'll really want to know, who were these people, because it's such a brief book. Anyway, if you can get the book, I'd highly recommend it. If you need something to do for an afternoon or an evening, it's a very good way to pass it.